there. Welcome back to the Grow with Cara show. Today, we continue our interview series with successful attorney marketers. We're taking a close look at what's working, what's not working so well, the specific steps these attorneys took to get to where they are. And remember, these are simple steps that you too can follow to get on a similar path to growth. Okay, let's get to it. Today, our special guest is attorney Bert Parnell. Bert is the founding attorney of Parnell Law, a personal injury firm in New Mexico. The firm has represented more than 5,000 clients and collected over $100 million in settlements and verdicts. We're super excited to have him here today. Welcome, Bert. Thanks for joining us.
Cara, thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So Bert, to begin, tell us a little bit about your story. Why did you start Parnell Law in, I believe it was 2009, was it?
Yes. So why I started it in 2009 was the circumstances at that time where I had been a lawyer for 12 years. I had been a prosecutor. I had been doing personal injury for a number of years with another and for another attorney who I respected and admired greatly. And he became a judge. And we had been talking about me buying the firm, but since he became a judge, I could not do that. And I bought his files and rented his office. And my fourth baby was on the way, but my wife and I talked about it and said, no, let's go ahead and do this. So I just kept on doing what I was used to doing, which was representing clients to the best of my ability. And I followed his model to some extent, meaning he had been doing a moderate degree of advertising. He had a larger firm over the years, but he had tapered it down. And so I continued with that moderate degree of advertising because I believed that was necessary to, maintain and it wasn't an enormous amount of files or anything, but to maintain the files that I had, the staff that I had. And so I continued advertising in a different way, my own style, and but I grew that over the years to where we are now, and we'll see where we go.
Nice. Kind of what changed? Describe sort of how the firm was advertising before you took over, and then what was kind of that shift? What did that look like?
Sure. Yeah. Well, he had a very good friend who was his, marketing agency. And he had a moderate presence on one TV channel, didn't spend a whole lot as far as I recall. And his friend went to another law firm, but recommended a consultant that I talked to, and he helped me kick off my own advertising, which was not TV right away. It was billboards. So in August of 2009, we started with billboards, a couple here and there. And he said, Bert, don't call me in the middle of the night because you're wanting for clients. This stuff takes a little while. So, I bided my time, and sure enough, it did catch hold. And so we started with the billboard, and a couple of years later started with some TV, and just grew it incrementally.
Nice. Yeah, we'll get more into kind of what you're doing now from a marketing perspective. But in the meantime, tell us, are you targeting sort of a particular slice of the injury market? How are you kind of positioning the firm? Or put another way, how are you kind of distinguishing yourself from all the other injury firms out there? How does your approach differ?
Well, I think those are two questions I'd like to give different answers to. In terms of targeting a different slice, I think we're targeting, mostly those who get in auto wrecks. That's most of what we do. Since I have been a prosecutor helping victims of crime, I also have an interest in helping victims of crime, which it's surprising to find out, but you can help them in the civil justice context. And so I've also been marketing to them, so to speak, or basically getting the word out that guess what, civil lawyers can help in a lot of situations. Not as many as you'd want, but more than you'd think. So, we try to target to those we can help. But as far as distinguishing myself from the competition, I don't think about that too much. I just try to do what I do to the best ability that I can. And I think that's, that's hopefully going to set me apart, because the way I do it is different, and, I hope better. And I think that comes across just by virtue of our work and our message.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about how it is different. I was interested by this kind of law firm with the client bill of rights that I read about. Tell us a little, I like that. Tell us a little bit about that approach.
Well, we're lawyers, and we do the best law that we think is out there, meaning we're really good lawyers, but they don't know that. The client, their concerns are very traditional concerns, which is the number one complaint of any client about lawyers is, my lawyer doesn't call me. Mm. So that's, in the client bill of rights, we're going to call you back. And other things.
It's basic, right? But it does not happen. Right.
That and other concerns about, just in general, lawyers are intimidating. So I offer these, certain rights, meaning, these are things we respect, in our relationship with you. So it helps put them at ease a little bit about, talking to us. And once we start talking to them, they can understand a whole lot better when we have a conversation that we're really interested in helping them.
Sure. And is your intake process consistent with that? Meaning, are you kind of either training your staff or your attorneys handling the initial intake? What does that look like, so that, the client knows that they're in good hands? They understand kind of what will be expected of them, what they can expect of you in the office?
Yes. So we have an intake department of several people who, that's their job, to answer the phones of potential new clients and answer their questions. And they can't give legal advice, but they can, offer a little bit about what we do and how we do things. And, they're very good at helping them understand that, they should hire us, and they should talk to the lawyers, and, start the communication that will set the case in the right direction.
How big is the firm? How many attorneys do you have, and about how many support staff?
So we have, 12 lawyers, including me. And the total number is 69. We have several departments that support each attorney, including, like I mentioned intake and investigation. I have 2 retired police officers who, that's all they do is investigate the case to help build it. And then we have case managers, and if the case goes into litigation paralegals, a settlement department, etc.
Great. What has your revenue growth been like over the years? And I don't need numbers necessarily, but just give us an idea of what your growth has been like.
It's about 10%, sometimes more, sometimes about 20%.
Year over year?
Year over year, in terms of the gross numbers. And so, every year we kind of get a thumbnail, a sketch about the cases we have and what we think will come in, and set a goal, and have so far, knock on wood, been able to meet that goal.
That's great. So then what's primarily contributing to that rapid growth? What are you really seeing that is allowing you to continuously, move up in that direction?
Our focus on the client and doing great work for the client. I don't spend the most money in advertising in New Mexico, but we by far and away have the most lawyers, because I want to do the best job we can in representing the client, taking it into litigation fight when we need to. The clients, don't necessarily want a long drawn out process, but if the adjuster, defense lawyer, et cetera, are being unfair, then that's our job to fight to get the right result for them. So yeah, our focus on the client, I think, is what has helped drive that growth, because ultimately, I mean, in addition to the marketing, and half of our cases come through referrals because of the good word of mouth that we have.
Yeah, so referrals from past clients, that's always, marketing gold. What about referrals from other attorneys, other professionals in the area?
Yes, we have a lot of referrals from other attorneys and other specialties, people who just know me because I've been around for 25 years, and it's always nice to get referrals from judges or defense lawyers or adjusters, and some, we get those referrals as well. And we work on our referral program also by recognizing those referrals. So we recognize referrals, thank them, and reach out to them as well.
Can we dig in a little bit into the specifics there? How are you really growing your referral network and nurturing kind of that referral program? So, I mean, you mentioned, sending thank yous. How are you keeping in touch? How are you ensuring that becomes predictable, a predictable source of new clients?
Right. So, well, I started off by writing a thank you card. And so that's the first thing that I think somebody should do. In fact, my brother just branched out to his own law firm in California, and I recommended that, send a thank you card. Yep. And we refer cases to a lot of attorneys in different specialties here, and I get a thank you card from one or two, and it really is important. And so we send a thank you card, and now we send a thank you card with a $5 Starbucks card, and we have built into that a program where we have a box of goodies, and I got this from another attorney in some of my mastermind groups in another state, and so we'll send a box with some Hatch green chili and Parnell Law socks and a Parnell Law pizza cutter and Parnell Law cutting board and things like that, just to demonstrate our appreciation.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Yeah, that's unique and memorable, right? Like you said, you only get a couple of those thank you letters. I'm sure they get even fewer gift boxes, right? Especially when it's curated, the local pieces. That's pretty cool. You mentioned mastermind groups. Let's talk about that a little bit. What's your experience been like in mastermind groups? Why do you think it's worthwhile to spend your time really, networking with other attorneys, learning kind of what's working for them?
Oh, that's been phenomenal. I was trained as a lawyer, not a marketer, not a manager. So I have these peers around me who have been training and coaching me, the peers, and I have coaches, and I've learned a lot through them. And just being around like-minded people, even if I don't do every little thing they do, which is by far the case. I'm not going to do everything, but I get little ideas or big ideas sometimes, and it's just whether I implement a certain idea or not, it's just the mindset of growth and the challenge, and being with peers who enjoy improving their marketing and their management. And ultimately the marketing and the growth is something where I believe I'm helping more people, more injured New Mexicans, and that to me feels good. So that's why I get with my peers to figure out how I can do it better.
How often are you meeting typically? Are you a member of a specific mastermind group? How often are you exchanging ideas?
Yeah, the PILMA Mastermind Group, Personal Injury Lawyers Management and Marketing Association, or I think Ken changed it to the Powerful and Innovative Lawyers Management and Marketing Association, because he's helping more than just personal injury lawyers. So Ken Hardison is phenomenal. The mastermind group is phenomenal, and we meet. The mastermind group meets 3 times a year. So I and one of my managing attorney and our operations manager and our marketing director, 2 or more of us will go typically and sit for 2 days, and we'll prepare our presentation, which is about an hour long, where we will present things that are working for us in terms of management, culture, hiring, etc., marketing. And then we'll also present the challenges we're facing, and there will typically be very good feedback. And it's not just, of course, contained in that 1 hour. It's over the course of 2 days. We listen to everything that's working for others, and we try to offer our help for their challenges as well.
I mean, that's got to be invaluable. Absolutely.
Yes.
Can you recall what are some of the things that you recently reported were working well for you, either, business wise, management wise, marketing? What were you reporting that to others that you have had success in doing?
Let's see. Well, our marketing agency is doing a very good job. Danette Valdez, our marketing director, now has a team of several people, and their work on the referral program I mentioned is going very nicely, and we're getting quite a lot of referrals. We've got the most Google reviews, and we always trumpet that. We talk about our culture very often and our hiring process. So we've tweaked that, and we have a recruiter, and so we've talked about that recently. So I think those are generally the types of things that we've talked about recently.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about your hiring and your recruiting process, because it sounds like you are able to really attract top talent who, they're really willing to stick around and be part of the team. It's clear that you're really kind of fostering this positive culture. Can you tell us a little bit more about the recruiting process? It sounds like you're working with a firm to help you out.
When I mentioned the recruiter, that's our own recruiter, actually.
Oh, got it.
So we have a recruiter, and we've hired 20 people year to date. So
Wow.
we're growing rapidly. Still, we added 1 lawyer. We'd like to add more. And so we have a hiring process that is, to some people, a little bit intimidating and lengthy and challenging. But once they get through it, they realize, now I see why, because it's a good way of determining whether it's a good fit for us and a good fit for them. And ultimately, retention is really important. We have very little turnover, and training new people is much harder than the very challenging hiring process we have. So we have, I've studied it. I've written out my process, outlined it, formalized it, and this is how we do it. We don't skip steps. And I have let go of the authority for hiring. I used to involve myself in everything, and I've let our operations manager do the hiring for most hires up to a certain level, and that's helped tremendously. So
it can be tough to delegate, right? But kind of once it happens, you realize maybe you are the bottleneck in some cases. At least I know that's been my experience from time to time. Yeah. Let's get a little bit more into your marketing. So your sales, your marketing, and your advertising as well. So I know you mentioned you're working with an agency. Before this interview, you mentioned that you're sort of investing in in a symphony of of marketing. It sounds like you're kind of in a lot of spaces. You got billboards, you have some radio spots, some digital. Give us just a brief rundown into kind of how you're investing those marketing dollars. And I'd also love to know about what percentage of your revenue are you investing in marketing and advertising?
Sure, yeah. So our marketing agency has been doing an excellent job, and our main contact there has referred to it as a symphony of media, and it's true. I mean, you can't peg what comes in through any $1 because, I mean, even before we were doing radio, a new client would come in and we'd ask him how he found out about us, and he'd say, "Oh, the radio." Like, okay. And so they don't know how they really found out about us. But TV, even though I don't watch it, a lot of people do, and so it's still a very good way of getting the word out. Billboard builds awareness, doesn't get people to pick up the phone, but it's just kind of day to day. Oh yeah, the Bert Parnell is out there, and when they get in that wreck, then they see that TV ad and they call, or they look me up on the internet, etc. So, I mean, in terms of allocation, so I was looking at this recently, and TV is about 40%. Let's see, billboard is 12%. SEO is 15%. The LSAs, the local service ads, that's about 20%. Programmatic and digital is 5%, radio 5%, and PPC 2%. So that's my breakdown. And it's not like I thought about it in terms of like my investments, what I'm going to allocate, this, that, and the other two. It's been more organic, I think, just pursuant to the recommendations of our marketing agency, and that is the allocation of our media dollars. That does not include our sponsorships. We also, those percentages would change significantly if you counted our referral program, like the boxes, the goodies, etc., as well as our sponsorships. We sponsor Mothers Against Drunk Driving and a whole lot of other, Make-A-Wish and other organizations that I think help get the word out into the community. And then plus we just want to do some good.
That makes sense a lot. Yeah, definitely. And how did you go about sort of vetting your marketing agency? Did you go through agencies that didn't perform so well? That's a question I hear often from attorneys that, they've been, frankly burned by one or more marketing agency, or they don't feel like they're really getting their return on their investment. How did you kind of go about finding this, what sounds like a really good fit?
I've been very lucky. I have not been burned by any marketing agency or consultant. Like I said, when in 2009, I met an individual, and Dave Michelson, and he and his son had this creative and ad agency, and he was with me for 11 years or so, something like that. And he retired. And so through my mastermind, I found out about another marketing agency, and that was Scale Marketing in Chicago, basically in Chicago, though they've got other people elsewhere too. And our main contact is Michael Mann, and he is wonderful. And I'll say, don't hire him because I want him to work on our stuff, but
right.
They've got other great people as well, great agency, and they've just been very professional and very invested in my growth and our relationship. So I recommend having a marketing consultant because, I mean, as a lawyer, I wasn't trained in marketing or management. I'm learning enough and doing the media buy, that's a whole nother ball game. And I wouldn't want to try to become an expert in that. So.
Yeah, and finding a partner there, it allows you to be high level, right? It allows you to look at the bigger picture, see, okay, here's about how much we're spending, want to push the gas pedal here or there, but actually getting into the weeds and implementing and executing, it sounds like that's kind of the agency handles that. And then you also have some internal marketing folks as well, right?
Yes. And Danette, she started here 6.5 years ago as our intake director. She's been a paralegal, so she knows the nature of our business, but she was the top regional salesperson for a makeup line before she came to us. She was very good at sales as well. So now she's getting her MBA in marketing, and thankfully he's bringing a lot of what she learned into our organization, and she's just a natural at doing a phenomenal job in marketing, including the referral program I mentioned, as well as being the point person for the communications with our marketing agency. So she is very on top of everything they're doing or we're doing together. I also have our digital marketing manager, Khan, in Vietnam. He was a student here and his student visa expired, so he had to go to Vietnam, but he's still working for us remotely and will hopefully one day be back here as well. So he is doing a wonderful job at and although I have an SEO company, which I recommend because I don't do SEO, and that's a tough one. I have been burned by another agency or two, but we built a good relationship with my company, and they're doing great work. And I have Khan as my digital marketing manager to work with them, and he's been knocking out of the park also concerning the LSAs. So
smart.
Yeah.
So overall, about what percentage of revenue would you say is dedicated to marketing and advertising?
Generally about 10 to 12%. And our gross revenue this year has been such that it has to this point exceeded expectations. So it's brought it down to about 9%. I mean, it's the same number of dollars, but just because of the nature of the percentages, it's brought it to 9%. But so generally 10 to 12%. I know that a lot of firms will spend a lot more. I spend more on my employees because the nature of our work and our profession is the best quality representation, and that in turn is why I believe we are getting more referrals, because of the quality of the work and not having to worry about as much about retention and culture, et cetera. We have a very good culture, so we can spend more of our time not worrying about drama, focusing on the client and doing a good job. So a little less in marketing, more on employees.
Smart. Are you doing anything specifically to keep in touch with those past clients? Do you have a newsletter or anything like that just keeps you top of mind?
We have two newsletters. One is for former clients. One is for more professional relationship, doctors and lawyers, et cetera. And so we have a lawyer that's geared towards former clients that goes out about once a month. And we send birthday cards, and sometimes we'll do other mailers, and we'll talk to our fans who refer us cases, and we'll try to give them some extra attention.
What about social media? What's the firm's approach to social media?
We have it.
Yeah.
And so we do social media. I think it's one of those awareness campaigns like out of home billboards. And so, or the programmatic. So we'll put out messages on social media. And that includes TikTok recently,
Oh, yeah.
which is kind of funny. If I told my kids that, they would, they would laugh. So I don't know that it's necessarily a huge driver, but it's just something to maintain that brand awareness.
More of a branding play at this point. Yeah. Yeah. So, Bert, you're a forward-thinking guy, but who do you look to for inspiration? I know you're members, you're a member of these mastermind groups, but are there any law firms or attorneys around the country that are doing some innovative things in your opinion? Who do you kind of look to?
Oh, so many of my mastermind members are inspiring in different ways, and so I like and learn from so many of them. I couldn't even begin to name any one of them. Matt Dubin referred you to me, and he's one of them, and he's just doing a whole lot of great work in Seattle. So I always appreciate talking to Matt. Just a lot of good friends who are doing great things.
Yeah. And Bert, before we wrap up, I always like to ask if a lawyer watching maybe only has time to adopt one, maybe two of the tips that you shared today, what would you recommend?
I would recommend thanking referral sources, like I mentioned, with a card, and then maybe some other items. Just building the referrals program, because a referral is it builds that trust that is so crucial to initiating and developing a relationship. So, and in that respect, Google reviews are very important, because it's indirectly a referral. It's like saying, hey, 5 stars, you should go see these guys. We've got the most Google reviews in New Mexico for a personal injury law firm. And so Danette and Khan and our marketing team have done a phenomenal job at just asking clients for that Google review. Testimonial is huge for our business, whether it's Google, Better Business Bureau, or other forums. I'd say just continue to do good work, and ask your client for a referral. If you don't ask, they don't know.
Yeah, I know. And it's so true. That's so true. For your referral program, do you have internal sort of incentives for your team built into any of that? Or I'm just kind of curious how that's structured.
Well, for the Google review, yeah, we do if we get a good review, we bonus our employee who got it.
Nice.
Or who also, sometimes I think if they mention an employee, then we'll bonus that employee.
What about anything around the attorney referrals or the professional referrals? Is there anything kind of built into that, or any kind of motivators?
No, we think them about the same way.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's interesting. Okay, great. Well, Bert, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us today. It was a lot of fun learning from you. Thank you.
It's been very nice talking to you, Kara.
Here's what we can take away from Bert's interview. 1, moderate but steady growth can create a sizable firm. At 69 people, Bert has grown an impressively large injury firm in one of the country's smaller states. 10 to 20% revenue increases year after year certainly add up. Number 2, a simple thank you card stands out. Few people still write them, which gives you an opportunity to make a memorable impression at nearly zero cost, right? Bert's high referral rate and simple thank you technique make this a must adopt approach. 3, learn from growth-minded peers. Though there are many wonderful groups out there, you don't have to spend thousands on membership fees and travel to get the benefits of a mastermind group. Simply assemble your own, share your challenges, your successes, bi-monthly or quarterly over Zoom. Simple as that. And number 4, you don't need to spend a lot on marketing. 10 to 12% of revenue at Bert's size buys a lot of media. But remember, his firm wasn't always that large. And we've had multiple examples of low and even no spenders on the Grow with Cara show. If your advertising budget is tight, review those low-cost techniques collected from my show and the booklets that we give away every few weeks. Okay? Big thanks to Bert for his time and, of course, his wisdom. We certainly appreciate it. Everyone, join us for this episode of the Grow with Cara show, happening very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.